right, dude.
My man.
Let's go. I'm ready.
All right. I want to first start off by saying that during my research of you, I found that you're a remarkably amazing artist.
Thank you.
In every song that you create, it's a larger than life feeling.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
And I don't see that hardly ever. You're a real great artist. I am so honored to be able to just pick your brain a little bit.
Oh man, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
I would like to start with, you grew up in the Congo, and where I read that at 12 years old, you tried to escape. Can you walk me through that incident, if you don't mind?
I grew up in the Congo, Africa, and when I was 12 years old, there was a war that suddenly broke out, and I was evacuated. I didn't try to escape. I would have stayed there forever. I mean, I love the Congo. It was like a Mowgli life. It was like, it was a jungle. It was wild. And when I was 12, I left my school, and there were a bunch of soldiers around that basically said that a war will start on Monday, so don't leave your home. By Monday, bullets were flying in the sky, and there was a full-on civil war. And basically, my dad had to make a choice because there was only one seat left on the last plane that was evacuating anybody from the war. And he said, put the kid in it. My two brothers were in the back building Molotov cocktails to protect us from mercenaries that were coming in the house. And within 30 minutes, this military truck came, grabbed me, and basically removed me from the Congo, wherever the military plane was going. And the next time I saw my family was 10 years later. This is where music played a big part in my life, because my dad always wanted me to be a musician, because he wanted to be a musician. But he never pursued it because he fell in love with my mom. And he always says he can't do, his two full-time jobs, and he can't do both at once. So he pushed it on us. I never wanted to be a musician until I got evacuated and I couldn't speak to my parents. I didn't know they were dead or alive for a few years. And music just became the bridge between myself and my family. So I started hearing all these melodies in every single thing, from people yawning, from people speaking. I always thought that there was a radio somewhere. I still do till this day. When I go to sleep, I just always hear music, and it's like truly hearing like a faint radio in the back, and it's never there. So I just had to learn how to, release all this stuff in my head, and I just learned how to play every instrument, and the journey just went on and on and on from there, basically.
Okay, I have I want to circle back to the war in the Congo.
Yeah.
By any chance, was this the Liberia War?
No.
No?
No,
Okay.
there's been a lot of civil wars in the Congo. This was just one of them. It's probably still going on till this day.
I have a buddy who's also a musician, and he was in Liberia, maybe Libya, I don't know. But when he was there, he lived in the U.S. Embassy. Soldiers ended up raiding the embassy, and he had to leave. And so
there's a lot of things like that. There's a lot of things like that happen in Africa, unfortunately. And there's a lot of refugee kids like me. But I don't regret my childhood. It's what gave me the fire, and to be able to do the kind of music that I make. So I'm very grateful for it.
It's pretty awesome and amazing. You also said something about you hear music in your head, and what's strange to me, and you're like, oh, I hear music in a yawn, I hear music in this. Like, I hear that in your music. Like, I'm thinking, I'm not sure. Maybe there's a couple of songs. One of them is sort of, it reminds me of Welshly Arms.
I don't know who that is.
You don't? Okay, you're real good. I think you might like them.
Okay.
But like you made, I'm not sure if it's your guitar or whatever it is in your production, but it made it seem like someone was singing.
What song was that?
I don't. Hold on. Let me look at it real fast. I have it open on my playlist. Um, let me see. I think it's this one. No, maybe not that one. Reckless?
Oh, Reckless, yeah. Where did you find that song? Because I removed it and I'm gonna put it back. But where did you find it? That's really interesting.
I tried to look every single song that I could find of yours. I found that one. I had to get in your head.
That's awesome,
I
man.
had to get inside of your head in
That's
somehow.
awesome.
So am I right? Am I hearing that?
Yes, that's what you've identified exactly the way that it hears in my head. This is how I hear music. I was just literally 2 nights ago, I was going to bed and in my head I'm like, is there a fucking radio playing somewhere? I looked everywhere and it happens all the time, and this is what I hear. I hear that kind of stuff. It's faint, it's in the background, and it doesn't go away. It's like it's on loop until I put it down, and then there's something else that shows up, and then the next part, and the next part. I always feel like I've just never written a song in my life. I just pick up what's there. If I pay attention, I can really listen. I can hear every part, and it's weird, man. It's just I don't know what it is.
Have you heard of the collective consciousness?
Yeah.
Have you heard of they put monkey, or they did an experiment, right? Where they put.
Oh, you mean the collective consciousness is a band?
No, I'm talking about in general in the universe.
Yeah.
Where they put monkeys on different islands.
Okay.
And they only put coconuts there.
Right.
So he didn't have nothing to eat.
Right.
And so then there's probably 4 different islands, 4 different groups of monkeys. Then they end up showing one of the monkeys how to break open the coconut.
Right, and monkeys on the other side of the world that knew how to. That's unbelievable.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, do you think that, because our brain is so fascinating,
right?
It is it's the one thing that we cannot explain on Earth.
Right.
As a part of our body. Do you think maybe that you're tapped into something, maybe a collective music consciousness?
I think that we don't really do anything original. I think we can't. I think what we do is pick up something that's already been created from another dimension. This is something I truly believe. And I believe that we all have genius in us, in one capacity or another. Some is music, some is painting, some is, public speaking, some is, whatever it is. And I think it's that gene that allows us to pick up our antennas and this specific thing. So I think that I'm just lucky to be able to pick up what's there. And I do think that the music itself has been created before. And, it's like, I feel like I'm just bringing it down into this sphere somehow. I think that's what I always feel like. I just don't feel responsible for any of this music.
I've understood hearing music in my head because I used to do, I almost was a priest before this.
That's amazing. I have a lot of respect for that.
But I ended up not choosing that path. But I do remember when I was in my youth group, I would hear songs and I would just, in my sleep, like I'm sleeping and right before I wake up, I hear them. And then it just runs with me, and I would just
there you go. There you go.
Song.
Listen, man, I probably wouldn't be as spiritual as I am unless I did music, because music, there's a few things that, that just made me kind of let go of my concrete beliefs of, that I am human and I'm creating this stuff. I mean, one of them is simple as improvising, right? It's interesting because when you improvise, you literally don't know what you're going to do next, right? The whole point of improvising, you just jump off the cliff and you trust that everything is going to be fine. And I've had so many moments where I don't feel like I was the one playing the instrument. I kind of just allow for something to come through me and take over. I've never taken any musical lessons for real, you know, where I really kind of just taught myself everything. I've never really learned how to produce or how to write songs or how to perform or how to play drums or guitar or bass or any of that stuff. I remember I did a few music lessons, but the piano teacher was a little confused because he would play me this chord that was like this really intricate chord. It was like a A flat 13 flat 5, right? It's like this really intricate jazz chord. And he'd look at me and he'd be like, what is the scale that you would play over this? And I would just look at the keyboard and see the pattern and I would know exactly what it is, you know? And he like, well, how do you know this? Like, you don't know the theory or anything. And it's just like, I've always been connected to something that I just trust that leads me to do this. So that's where a lot of my spirituality comes from what music has shown me.
Okay, it's hold on. I got a couple of them. The layers that you use in your songs, is this you in front of, you know, Pro Tools or whatever, like, oh, I want to throw this in, or I'm messing with this, or like you create something earlier and like, oh, maybe I want to drop that in this song. Like, so when you're creating, is it you with a team or is it you in front of Pro Tools?
Oh, it's just me alone.
Fucking dude, damn, I was hoping to God that you said that.
Yeah.
I was like, please be a Superman. Like I know you are. Also, you said, I noticed you have a tattoo.
Yeah.
All seeing eye.
I just got this one done.
You did?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was just supposed, I mean, you know, there's no, I just had a vision of having an eye there that was really cool. And then when he did it, I was like, I feel like it's missing something. What if we frame it inside a triangle? And it was really that simple. There was no real like thought process to it, like the all-seeing eye or anything. I guess that's what it is now.
But it also, it's sort of interdimensionally, you know? So that's, I sort of relate those two. I pair those up, the all-seeing eye and interdimensional.
I do as well.
Have you ever had any experiences that you can't explain that you would like to share?
My God.
In a result to that?
So many. I mean, I'll tell you a quick one.
Yeah.
I've had things speak to me. I mean, I've had so many crazy things, but I was in this monastery in Laos, which is by Burma, by the north of Thailand. You know, it was like this 5,000-year-old monastery, and this old monk came up to me and gave me this little thing, right? And he was just like, hey, this is Gassame. He's the remover of obstacle and finder of things, right? This is just this interesting story. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, how do I get it? He's like, if you lose something you really want to find, you want to remove an obstacle, you give them offerings and you basically just, you know, say, Gassame, I'll give you this if you find me this. I'm like, okay, well, let me try this. You know, I go out and I go, you know, it was fall and I went for a walk and I came back and I lost my keys. And it was day one that I came back from Laos and I needed those keys so bad. They had my music studio, my car and everything. And I'm like, all right, well, let me try this. So I put on, I give them an offering and I said, Gassame, help me find my keys. Nothing happens. Day two, I give them more offerings. Nothing happens. Day 3, day 4, day 5. I'm just like, really want to believe that this is going to work because they had the whole monk and the cape. I'm like, this is amazing. And day 7, nothing happens. And I'm just like so disappointed because I've had so many amazing things happen to me. I'm like, I need this to work, right? In my mind, I want to believe. So, day 8, I wake up and I have this I wake up at 7 in the morning, first of all, which never happens to me. And second of all, I have this deep craving for a cheeseburger, a greasy, cheesy cheeseburger, which makes no sense, right? I'm grossed out at the thought of it, but I need to find a cheeseburger at 7 in the morning. So I wake up, I walk around to the neighborhood pub and I'm like confused. I'm like, do you guys have cheeseburgers? They go, no, gross. But the only place you can find one, I guess, is in this pub up there that's open 24 hours, and pub I've never heard of. I'm like, okay. I walk up, 7:30 in the morning, get there, and they're still putting the tables and all that stuff. I'm like, do you guys have cheeseburgers? They go, yeah. I'm like, okay. You know, I'm grossed out at the thought of ordering this damn cheeseburger. I sit down, order the cheeseburger. There's just me and this other woman that's on the other side of the restaurant, and she's just staring at me intensely, right? I just want to eat this cheeseburger. I feel sick. I pay the bill. She keeps staring at me, and I just walk out. I'm like, well, there's my cheeseburger. I guess I'm gonna go home. She runs behind me, and she goes, Eric, Zayne? I'm like, yeah. She goes, I have your keys. And I'm like, excuse me? She goes, I found them, and I've had this feeling for a week that I need to keep them in my purse because I'm gonna run into you. I found an old website of yours that had your face on it. Sent you messages from there and you didn't respond, but I remember that I was gonna see your face, and bam. And these are the kind of things that happen over and over again, from like hearing voices where I thought I was schizophrenic to all kinds of strange stuff. I mean, you know, I don't know how much I should reveal, but I've had a very strange relationship with some other thing that I feel has been guiding me my whole life. I don't talk about that a lot, but you know, I've come to accept it.
Fucking A, dude. I can literally talk to you for hours. But I know
you took me right down the deep end, didn't you? It's just like, good morning, man. Most people ask questions like, so what was your thought behind the song, you know? And you're like, do you hear ghosts?
Man, I'm telling you, I have a feeling about you. The moment I read the email from the publicist I was like, something about this guy. And then I started listening to your music, and I was like, oh shit, I need to be involved with this. I need to somehow talk to this guy. He's special. And then, like, even with the nuances in your music, hearing it, like, I don't know.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much.
You're someone special. All right. Well, I know that you have a busy day today, so I'm going to just, I'll wrap it up with this topic.
This was one of my favorite interviews, by the way. We did not talk about anything about the song. We went straight into the stuff, in my opinion, that matters even more. Because, you know, if there's one thing that I really want to, you know, to share with my brothers and my sisters, right, is the connection that we all have together. You know, the one thing that I believe truly is that there's only one of us here, right? I think that there's the ego, and the ego plays this game of separation, and it tries to make us believe that you are a man, I am a woman, you are a Capricorn, I'm a Leo, you are, you know, Spanish, I am French, all these things, whatever. But at the end of the day, if I feel some sort of separation and some sort of judgment towards another, right? That is a separation that I've created within myself with a brother or a sister. If I make the effort to try to bridge those things together, then I'm reintegrating myself within myself and bringing the whole into one, right? That's to me one of the most important things in my life that I want to do. Like, I just see this whole planet as we are in the same family. I don't care where you're from, what you've done, who you are. You are my brother, you are my sister, and I bring, you know, I want to reintegrate that family together. That's one of my biggest interests in this life.
That's dope. That is dope. All right. Fuck. All right. Now I have two questions, bro. Look what you just did. You made another question. All right. So Dwayne Johnson picks up your song.
Yeah.
Are you a wrestling fan?
I've never been a big wrestling fan, but I've definitely watched Dwayne do his thing. The Rock, smell what the Rock is cooking. Like, we've all seen that, you know.
Were you like, I mean, he's arguably probably the biggest celebrity on earth, right?
For sure.
Like, I'm a big wrestling fan, so for me that would be like amazing. But like when you hear that news that this is all happening for you with the Under Armour and and just the Rock picking up your song, what's the first reaction that you have?
I mean, it's so funny the way it was done too. It was basically his wife and I are friends, right? Because we work on a lot of music together. Um, his wife is a phenomenal musician, singer. Who would have known, right? So I wrote this song with two of my
I do remember that.
two of my sisters, Nas Tokyo, who's a superstar. Like, go check her out. And she's my sister. And Lauren Hashian, who's Dwayne Johnson's wife, she comes to my studio and she starts riffing these triplet runs and everything. I'm just like, how the hell are you this like complex with music? What's going on? She doesn't tell me because she's so humble. And then a month later, she's like, tells me the story about this guy who had her dad on his t-shirt. I'm like, who's your dad? She goes, oh, he's the drummer of Boston. I'm like, well, no shit. You grew up on tour with one of the biggest bands in the world, right? She's like, oh, I never told you this? No, you didn't. Okay. So anyway, so we start working on songs and we're killing it. Like, you know, we're landing, you know, songs with like Pitbull and all that kind of stuff. And then we were working on a movie that Dwayne Johnson was in. And she went home. She's like, hey, check this song out, right? And I had all the music already done years ago. And I knew the song was going to be special, but I didn't know what it was going to be. So when her and I finished the song, she just went home and played it for Dwayne. And Dwayne was like, this is amazing. And this would be great for, you know, Under Armour. She knew that months ago, but she never told me. She just said, there's some good things coming about this song. Trust me. And I bugged her so much for months. I was like, Lauren, what is it? What is it? Tell me, what is it? Do you know? I said, what is it? I want to know. She's like, I can't tell you. And then she just told me on Friday last week that Dwayne had picked it and it was coming out on Monday. And I had 3 days to put the whole thing together. I had to sing it, produce it, master it, mix it, find a cover, get it out to the world. It was intense, but it got done. And we're almost at 300,000 plays on Spotify now in a week and a few days, and it's going to reach 1 million pretty soon, which is going to be my first. So that's really exciting.
Your first for 1 million?
Well, no, I've had a first for
1 million, right?
Which one?
Maneater?
Maneater is on YouTube, yeah, but I have 1.3 million with Jeremy Renner on the song Sign. By the way, he just put out an album that came out at midnight today, and I produced 3 of the songs on there, but there's one that I'm doing a duet with him on, She's a Fire, which I think is gonna reach pretty high as well. So it's a lot of good things, man. It's been a really good run lately, and you know, the one thing I'm gonna tell you is that I've been holding back on putting out music because I've been so busy producing, but now I've set up the entire proper team, and I'm gonna put out a song a month, or maybe 2 songs a month sometimes. And I think for the next 8 months, you're gonna be flooded with Eric Zayne music, which I'm really excited about. And if you like that type of music, you are like Reckless and all, you are gonna love what I'm putting out.
You said if I like that type of music, which is every type of genre that you play. You play pop, rock, hip hop. I mean, come on. If you like music, you're gonna like this.
Right. I appreciate that. So you're awesome, man. Thank you.
All right. My last question, I promise. Yeah. Unless you fuck it up and get me all curious again. Your spirituality.
Yeah.
How do you practice your spirituality, and what is your belief? And do you have, it seems like you have an attachment to something else that's not, maybe not worldly. I don't know. I don't want to put words into that of like paranormal or anything like that, but do you feel that you're in touch with something, and have you had any contact with a creator?
Yes, I feel like I'm in constant contact with a creator. I feel like it's up to us to actually just make space for it, because I feel like the voice is not this loud voice. I think it's the quiet, constant voice that just whispers. And I think that you have to quiet yourself within to actually listen to it. And I truly believe that everything is everything, right? It's just like, it doesn't matter. It's almost like what religion is to me, different types of religion. And I'm not saying this to offend anyone out there. I have so much respect for every single religion, everyone's belief system, as long as it doesn't force anyone else or wrong anyone else. Everyone has the right to find their path to the divine, right? I truly believe that. And I think that the way that I look at those things, it's almost like if you have a sign that points to California, right? And you stop at the sign and you say, I've arrived, right? Every religion, every little version of it points to the same thing, right? And I think that once you get there, everything is everything. And you know, I would expect that, you know, an almighty being like a God, right, would create all the possible paths for his children to walk back to where they belong, right? So I believe that we have been separated from a source so that we are in this sort of theater, this game, to actually get back to our source, you know? And I think that that path that we take to connect back to the divine when there's all this distraction from the ego is the way that we raise our frequency and we raise ourselves. So it doesn't matter what you choose, what name you call it, as long as it is true and authentic to you. And for me, it's music. For me, it's this voice inside myself that isn't, you know, judgmental. It isn't a separatist, you know, and everything that I believe in is truly inclusive of everything. It's about raising your frequency. It's about raising yourself. It's about trusting yourself, listening to yourself, and you know, trying to humble down so that you can find love and lessons in everything that you see in the world.
My man, Eric Zayne. Nothing more to be said. I enjoyed our time this morning.
Me too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This will be in our November issue.
Yeah.
If you come out with, if you need any support at any given time, let me know. And I would love to do whatever I can to help.
I really appreciate it, man.
And if you're ever in Ventura, hit us up.
I will.
My man. All right, Eric. Take safe.
Thank you, brother. Bye.